With our competence requirements series, and today we're doing part 2 of the series, which is the session regarding regulatory examination, class of business training, and product specific training. I am Ziyanda Brukwe, and today I'm joined by Lindokuhle Sibanyoni, and she'll be answering all of our questions regarding this session today. Lindo, talking about regulatory examinations. Please take us through the different examinations for the different categories.
Thank you, Ziyanda. We have 4 types of regulatory examinations. Each regulatory examination deals with specific subject matter. Preparation determines success, so it's quite important that one fully prepares for these examinations. It's also worthy to note the fact that the FSCA has prepared a preparation guideline which contains all the necessary information in order for one to be successful in their exams. Later on, we'll take you through the preparation guide. For now, let us explain more about the types of regulatory examinations. RE1 is applicable for FSPs and key individuals in all categories. RE3 is applicable for FSPs and key individuals in categories 2 and 2A. RE4 is applicable for FSPs and key individuals in category 3. And lastly, RE5 is applicable for representatives in all categories of FSPs. One would then wonder that in order for them to prepare, what are some of the techniques that one can use? There are 2 types of preparation techniques that one can use. Firstly, it is the subject matter, which focuses on understanding the legislative requirements as outlined in the qualifying criteria. And then secondly, we have the exam technique, which focuses on understanding how to analyze questions. Which each of these exam techniques, one is required to ensure that they answer every question, regardless of the level of the question and the understanding. We'll then go on to the FSCA website, where we will take you through step by step on how to find this preparation guide that was mentioned earlier. So one would go onto the internet and search for FSCA. And then once you're on the website, you will then go on to regulated entities.
Yes.
Once you have arrived at regulated entities, there is licensing and registration.
Okay.
And then you'll go on to the second tab on the right, which says phase.
Okay.
And then you will focus specifically on fit and proper.
Okay, fit and proper.
When you have arrived on the fit and proper page, you will see that there is preparation material for RE1, preparation material for RE5, preparation material for RE3,
yes,
preparation material for RE4, and then there's also RE frequently asked questions. It's also important to familiarize yourself with these questions so that you can best prepare for your regulatory examination. And then lastly, we have your RE preparation training material that one can also peruse in order to fully understand. Thank you, Ziyanda.
Okay, thank you, Lindo. Let me just stop sharing. Yes, we've done that, and then we can continue. Oh, okay, Lindo. Then is there a training or suitable training provider that FSA can recommend?
The FSCA recommends that when selecting a training provider, one needs to ensure that they select a training provider that is accredited and approved by the FSCA. This will then guarantee that one would receive quality training.
Okay. So one needs to make sure that they do their research and actually get an authorized or an accredited training provider so they don't waste their funds. Thank you, Lindo. Thank you for that.
Yes.
So in terms of, now we're moving on to class of business training. For class of business training, who must complete this training?
Class of business training is completed by all authorized financial services providers, your FSPs, as well as your key individuals and your representatives.
Okay. So what kind of material should be covered in these trainings?
In these trainings, what would be focused on is the specific class of business that is being trained on. This class of business would be provided and assessed by an accredited training provider.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about these training and everyone completing it. Then in terms of record keeping, what must happen?
One needs to ensure that the FSPs need to ensure that once trainings have been completed, they must be kept in a manner that is easily accessible should the FSCA require information on that specific training. I think it's also important to also note that with the class of business trainings, what is covered in those trainings are the different types of classes. For example, they would be a class that is covered such as your short-term insurance, perhaps on personal lines, or your short-term insurance on commercial lines, or long-term insurance. These are just to name a few of the types of class of businesses.
Okay. So someone will complete the class of business training, and over and above that, they need to complete product-specific training. Who does this training apply to?
The product-specific training applies to FSPs and representatives, and it is compulsory for the training to be completed before a representative offers any financial service.
Okay. What kind of information must be included in this training?
In these product-specific trainings, it's important that we note the fact that what will be trained on is that specific product in respect of which the services will be rendered. This product needs to be unique and suitable for that particular product supplier that will be rendering the product-specific training.
Okay, now that since this product is unique to a product supplier or to the one who's providing the training, who should provide this training? Does it necessarily have to be internal, or how can they provide it?
I think that will depend on the FSP, but mostly this product-specific training will be provided by a product supplier, because then that will enable them to explain and provide more insight and information about a particular product that is unique to their service offering.
Okay. So in terms of record keeping, is it the same as class of business, or is it different in any way?
It is the same. One would need to ensure that the training registers and any competence certificates that may be acquired need to be kept in a manner that is easily accessible should the regulator request to get sight of that type of training records. It's also important to note that training can only be provided by an accredited training provider or an education institution. Training providers will be accredited by skills education training authorities, such as your CETA, and they need to be according to the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations criteria.
That is good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Linda, for answering all of our questions today. That takes us to the end of our session, which was part 2. If you have missed part 1 we've already completed and is available. And now we'll be continuing with the series with part 3 and part 4. Please be on the lookout for that one as well. Thank you, Linda, for today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.